Okay, we have an incredible guest for you guys. And one of the reasons we were so excited about this person is because she is doing networking events all over right now. She has incredible networking events where she is using certain things there to really connect people and get answers that people need. So this is actually something that she does frequently. And Charity, I'm going to invite you up in 1 minute. Charity Majors is the founder and leader of Business and Bubbly, which is a conglomerate of nationwide networking chapters for women in business. She's not only an expert connector and community builder, but she's on a mission to cultivate genuine connection among women in business on a large international scale through curated experiences that cultivate meaningful connections, incredible communities, and rooms filled with high performers. I think that's you guys. And she's also an incredible mother and wife. And fitting with our love of generosity, one of her favorite moments was when she and her family went to Africa and gave over 100 pairs of shoes to orphans and underserved children. That must have been amazing. And I know that you have a really unique special experience for them to connect in a different way than maybe you guys are used to connecting. A super fun, playful way. So Charity, get up here.
Give a round of applause.
Can't you see the sun shining? I woke up and I rolled out of bed. Got dressed and I left at 10. Checked my nails, looking good.
Hello. How's everyone doing today? Good. Well, as you heard, my name is Charity Majors, and for the last 10 plus years as an entrepreneur, I have been cultivating community and connection in multiple arenas. And for the last 3 years, it has been focused really in rooms similar to this. And I'm honored that to be able to kind of come alongside Chris and Lori and to create this with you guys. We are going to, for the next 44 minutes, is learn what it looks like to ACE connection. This is going to stand for, A, stands for how to ask better questions. Now, we actually believe that when we ask better questions and when we get brave with our answers, that we create better connection. Do you guys believe that as well? Good. This C for ACE is the culture that we're going to establish in here. We're actually going to infuse a few very intentional things within the culture because culture grows things. An environment is stronger than willpower. And so when we can come into spaces like this, I don't know about you, but we can kind of pick up on some energy and we can kind of say, oh, okay, like I'm kind of feeling the excitement and I'm feeling the whatever from this person and my solar plexus is going off right now. And all of a sudden, it can be hard to distinguish from what's mine versus what I'm picking up from the atmosphere. And so my job is to help you know that you get to stand shoulder to shoulder alongside giants without feeling insecure. Does that sound good? All right. Now, E is going to be the encouragement that we're going to need in this space. Because there are big people in the room that have big dreams, they have big businesses, they have big followers, they have big ideas, big hopes, and when we leave here, just like you guys have heard Lori and Chris talk about, that when we have a supportive network of people, we're actually more willing to take bigger risks. And we need the encouragement, which actually means to actually impart courage for the journey, okay? So on your tables, we're going to start with a really fun exercise here. And you will see cards that have questions. Now, we are going to do what's called a question scramble. This is a really fun way to begin to ask better questions. Now, how many of you have been to networking events where it is, oh, let's talk about the weather, or really bad 30-second stories, and here's my business card, and anybody? Yeah. That's not this. And so we actually want to encourage you guys to teach you to ask better questions. On the center of your tables, if you want to grab a card, you actually have a choice in the type of question that you will get to ask. The yellow means that they are a little bit more light and fun. The beige is more of the kind of the deeper questions. So they're a little bit deeper below the surface if you want to cannonball into the pool, into conversation. And the ivory color is an invitation into self-reflection. So these are a little bit deeper still, but you guys can choose what color of card you want. Now, you each do have a card deck in front of you. Those are for you guys to keep, courtesy of Chris and Lori. Don't get into those because we're actually going to be mixing and mingling and doing a bunch of really fun stuff. So use the ones that are in the center of your table for this facilitation. So what Question Scramble is you're actually going to, and not yet, I will cue you in just a minute, but you're going to take your card, and we're all going to stand up and walk around the room, and we're going to find a few people to connect with. They're going to get to ask you your question. You're going to ask their question. Yeah, not yet. I'll cue you. You're good. You're good. I got you, girl. I got you, girl. I know. You're so excited. And here's the fun thing, is that some people, right, all of a sudden they're like, yay, new people and new questions. And some people are like, yay, new people and new questions. But because you have a choice in your question, if you want to stick with the light and fun and the yellow and you see someone that has the deep reflection ivory card, you're like, nope, not you. Right? So you can go find someone at the level of comfort of the depth of conversation that you are willing to play at as we learn to ask better questions. Are you guys ready for this? All right, so go ahead and stand up. Hold your card up. Oh, one other thing. After you are finished asking your question, this is where the question swap comes in. You're going to switch cards and find another friend to talk to. Sound good? And we're going to do this a few times. So you're going to have a few conversations. Make it a minute or so, like kind of short and awesome. All right, you guys ready? And go find a partner. Now, how many of you had a really great conversation and learn to ask better questions? Yeah, great job, great job. Next, what we're going to do, so that was A, right? We did learn to ask better questions. And the cards where you guys get to take them, the entire intention is for you guys to be able to do this when you leave here as well, okay? So next, we're going to get into our C, and this is where we're going to establish a few really key ingredients within the culture that we have here. If we aren't necessarily familiar with culture, it's way more than cool beanbags at Google and liking to work there. If you think back to science class, culture actually grows things. I don't know if you did experiments, right, back in biology, those little petri dishes, culture grows things. And in this room, our entire intention is to grow connection and community. Because from here, this is the launching pad for connection. And like Chris and Lori were talking about, what happens in this room will set each of us up for really incredible things for our future. And it's all because of who we know, not necessarily what we know, but who we know, right? So with culture, we actually want to infuse one of the foundational things of relationship, which is with trust. And I don't know about you, but I don't necessarily trust as much someone who hasn't gone through something really hard. I like to call this putting your rocks on the table. And what this looks like is, yes, if you're willing to go there with me, we're actually going to talk about maybe when you hit rock bottom. Or when someone threw some stones at you and you were actually able to pick up those rocks and build something with it. Thank you. Because what this does is we start to actually peel back some of the layers of who we are and the really fun clothes and the nice weather outside. I live in Idaho, so it's cold there, so I'm really glad I'm here right now. We got to lay by the pool yesterday. It was great. But when we actually start to dig a little bit more into each other's stories and we start to put the rocks that we have from our story on the table. And this isn't the I'm just going to go in the ditch and we're going to stay in the ditch, right? These are the stories that it's the part of your story that you have. You have your story. It doesn't have you, right? So it's the rocks and the lessons that you have picked up from the hardest times in your life. It's the stones that people tried to throw at you that maybe they thought were going to break you, but you actually picked it up and you built something with it, okay? So rocks on the table, this is actually going to help establish trust. Are you guys willing to play? All right. What we're going to do next, actually, I'll start first. I'm going to share a couple of the rocks that I have on my table, just to give you an example of what this looks like, as well as invite you into some of my world. So this here actually represents my little rainbow baby, who she just turned 1. And thank you. And she, after journeying through loss, my husband and I, we have a 7-year-old son, and we journeyed through loss, and it took about 5 years for my daughter to come. And she is this little walking answered prayer that I get to look at every single day and hug and kiss every single day. But there was definitely a time in my life that when I was walking through that journey of loss, I remember sitting on the bathroom floor, ugly crying in a puddle of tears, feeling like my body was broken, feeling buried in shame, like asking the big questions, like, why me? Why us? Why our family? Why this dream? And I remember sitting there on the floor, and God came and met me. Now, fill in the blank for you. God, source, spirit, for me it's God. And that voice of truth inside began to speak hope and life and say, actually, you're not broken. You never have been. And that voice of truth didn't give me a 7-step to get out of my whatever. It actually gave me the beautiful perspective that there are a million pieces and parts that have to come together for life to be sustained. And it's not a mistake that you're here. And it's not a mistake that you're here. It's not a mistake that any one of you are here. You are walking miracles and gifts. And so, yes, we will rub shoulder to shoulder with really incredible leaders and big people. And there are other really incredible leaders and big people right next to you. And so to be able to see the gift that each of you carry, that's one of the unique perspectives and impartations that I actually carry. Because there's a lot of people that we can teach what we know. There's a lot of people that are teaching what they know, which is really great. There's a lot of even university professors that are teaching business that have never had a business. Just saying. But there's actually a difference between teaching what we know versus imparting what we've experienced, right? So it's actually going to happen energetically in the room that as we impart the rocks that we have picked up from rock bottom, the lessons, the gold that we have picked up from rock bottom, or the stones that people tried to throw, and we actually were able to find the gifts in the hardest of times, then that's where we actually start to see human to human, heart to heart, soul to soul, and deeper connection is built. Because how many of us know that we don't want to do business with someone unless we know them, like them, and trust them? So when we can infuse trust into the atmosphere, when we can infuse trust into conversations, deeper connection is going to follow. Does this make sense? All right. So I'm going to have you guys actually get into groups of 4. And not at your table, okay? So in just a moment, I'll have you move around. But before you do, those cards that are on your table. There's a question side, and there's also a picture side. And I'll give you another example. Actually, I'm going to save that one. So the picture side, I want you to sift through the ones that are on your table. So flip them all over. Look at the pictures, and you're going to find something that resonates with you as far as maybe a rock that you have picked up from your journey, or something that you believe really represents trust. So go ahead and find a picture on the cards that resonates with you, that talks or that tells the story of maybe something that you have been through. And as you get your picture, in just a moment, we are going to go in groups of 4, and then we're going to talk about the rocks on the table. Okay? All right, so if you haven't grabbed a picture yet, go ahead and grab one, stand up, and find groups of 4 to be able to talk about the rocks on your table. Great job, you guys. Now, the next thing we want to infuse into our culture is honor. And honor looks like that I can see the gold in you, but I don't have to be tripped up by the dirt. Because I'm sure we're picking up on different things. Maybe you've heard different things in people's different stories, where it's, okay, I see that little people-pleasing. I see that little recovering perfectionist. I see, right? And all of a sudden, we can start to kind of pick up on some people's junk. And that's okay, because honor actually says, you know what, I'm going to choose to see the gold without getting tripped up by the dirt. And so we actually want to call that out in people. Honor actually raises the atmosphere for people to elevate themselves to what it is that other people have called out in them. So now that you have met a handful of people with our questions, and now that you know maybe some of the dirt, but the rocks that they have picked up from their story, what we actually want to do is honor the people around us for the strength that we see inside of them, for the greatness that we see inside of them. And so I'm just going to have 3 of you. This is where we'll need a mic runner, Nick. But I'm just going to have 3 of you guys actually stand up and honor someone that you have just connected with. You're going to kind of give them a shout out. It probably has nothing to do with their business name that you probably don't remember. And that's okay. Because honor actually means that, hey, I see you for who you be, right? Not for what you do. So if this is going to be one of you, the 3 of you that are going to stand up and share, it's probably not those of you who are very comfortable with this. It's probably those of you who your heart is beating really, really fast, and you're a little bit nervous, and your brain is trying to talk you out of it. You're like, no, I shouldn't be the one to talk about this person. I just met them. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't even know what I'm going to say, but guess what? That's you. Your internal hand is being raised. But part of this is because when we start to honor what we see in other people, then it allows us to receive honor as well. And we get to raise to that level of expectation, or raise to that level of honor and the gift that we all see in each other. Does that sound good? So I'm going to have 3 of you guys. If you are willing and open, it's going to be short and awesome, so like 30 seconds. Right? So this would be something like, hey, Jenna. Jenna, if you would stand up, actually. If you don't know Jenna, fight to get to know her. She is beautiful not only on the outside, but she is beautiful on the inside. She's an incredible mom, an incredible wife, and she is so smart. with business. You will be better when you get to know her. Thanks, Jenna. That's what honor looks like, right? So 3 of you guys, if you have met someone incredible that you want to sing their praises, you want to honor them in front of everyone, I would love for your hands to go up. 1, 2, 3. All right, we've got 1, 2, 3. All right, we can start back here. Whoever, Nick has the mic. All right, now first of all, go ahead and stand up. And here's what we're going to do first, okay? Because we typically meet 10,000 people on average in our lifetime. That's about the size of the Rome Colosseum. And I don't know about you, but a lot of people, including myself, we have plenty of people in the cheap seats, right? But because in this room we are in the arena together, as Tracy stands and shares and honors someone else, we want to honor her. Oh. And so what we're going to do... And so what we're going to do, so Tracy, you're going to start, you're going to introduce yourself, and as you say your name and where you're from, we are going to be her biggest fans and give her the biggest round of applause, like Chris cheers for the Packers. All right? So Tracy, name where you're from, we are going to be your biggest fans, and then you are going to honor who you're going to honor. Ready? Take it away, girlfriend.
I'm Tracy O'Malley, and I am from here in sunny Arizona. And it is my absolute pleasure. I was so excited to see you, Miss Sheila, here in this room, who I am surprised you don't feel like you belong here, which is just mind-blowing to me. You guys,
Sheila, go ahead and stand up.
Must meet Miss Sheila. She is one of the feistiest firecrackers I've ever met and a trailblazer. And I get why maybe you believe that like you're not like anyone else, because you're not. And you were never meant to be. She is an authority in the permanent makeup and an industry that gets a lot of crap, and you are changing lives, including my own daughters. Like, she listens to your podcast. So I'm so happy you're here. Please, 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 you know you could be running a whole room like this, like you do. So I'm so happy you're here.
So great. Thank you. All right, next hand that was raised, go ahead and stand up, say your name, and we are going to be his biggest fans.
My name is Mark Pasternak from Denver, Colorado. I want to honor Kim. From the first time I met her, there was just this energy and this spark that she brings to the conversation. You know, you meet those people that just see kind of right through you into your soul, and that's Kim. And the stories that she has shared, her humility, her inspiration, and her empowerment. And something that connects to what you were saying is the encouragement. She has a way to just encourage and challenge you in a way that doesn't diminish you. So I want to honor you with that.
So great. All right, and last one over here, Susie Q. Name,
Thank
where
you.
you're from, and we are her biggest fans.
Hey, you guys, I'm Susie Williams-Zellers, originally from Michigan, but live in San Diego, California. Thank you. I really want to honor the women in my group are amazing, but one in particular is Miss Callie. I heard her story, and when you look at her from the outside, right, she's just this stunning, beautiful blonde, and you would probably look at a gal like her and think, oh, she has probably never had an issue in this world. And I hear her story, and I was intrigued with her teddy bear, and she tells me her story about a true major physical issue she had that she overcame. And to this day, she still has some slight issues. But during this time, she used these positive affirmations and the faith of her family to get her through. And she was never supposed to walk again. And here she is today. And she uses now her pain for purpose by giving back to other children with this very special teddy bear and her mission.
So beautiful. Great job. Thank you for sharing. We have some really amazing people in this room. Last one for A.C.E. Now that we have learned to ask better questions, that we have established a few key components within our culture, now comes the encouragement. And this is the impartation for the journey from when we leave here that we're actually going to need when we go out to pursue our big ideas. Now, encouragement, like I mentioned, it's that impartation. And with the cards that you have in front of you, again, with the picture side, before thinking too much about it or hearing a whole lot about what we're going to do, I'm asking for your trust, another deeper level of trust, is to pick one that speaks to your heart or that just kind of, ignites something in your spirit or your intuition is like, that one. Don't think about it too much. You can trust yourself. Choose a picture that speaks to you. And now, we are actually going to speak encouragement over the person next to us, and I'll show you what this looks like in just a minute. But this is for the journey that we're going into, the next season, okay? So I have an example here. You can't really see it. I should probably get it on the other side of that big fancy sign that I have. But this is a picture of a boat, and it's on the ocean. Now, when we think about encouraging someone, when it comes to pictures, what this does is it actually gets a really fun creative part of our brain going versus like the logical analytical side, okay? And what the picture actually is going to represent is an image that you're going to bring with you into your next season. And when I think about this picture of the boat in the ocean, I'm thinking about it. What does it remind me of? Okay, who's in my boat? Oh, there might be some stormy seas. Can you guys see how one picture can begin to develop 1,000 words, right? And so for me, I would say that this picture, that let's say, so my partner drew this card, I would be able to look at this card and say, hey, you know what? I actually feel like in your next season that it's going to matter who's in your boat. That it's going to matter who you are surrounded with. And even if the seas get windy and rocky and wavy, that you're actually anchored. Like I feel like you're really anchored in this next season as well. So you don't have to be afraid of the wind and you don't have to be afraid of the seas that might come because of who's in your boat. Does that make sense? All right, so it literally is going to be probably 30 seconds with your partner, but you are going to speak hope and encouragement into their heart for the next season, because our words create worlds. Our words are really, really powerful. All right, so go ahead and grab your partner that you have next to each other, that you have next to you, and you are going to give them a word of encouragement based off of the picture that they drew. 30 seconds.
You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand.
Go ahead and switch partners.
Your name, and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours. You are mine.
Go ahead and switch partners if you haven't switched partners.
Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand.
All right, go ahead and wrap it up. Hands up in the air, wrap it up. Hands up in the air, hands up in the air. All right, last one. I'm gonna have you guys stand up. Nick, you can go ahead and play that last song. Give some group high fives, some group hugs. Thank everyone around you for playing, and thank you so much for allowing me to serve you.
Cause I'm gonna stand by you. Oh, tears make a lot of scopes in your eyes. It hurt, I know you're hurting, but so am I. And love, if your wings are broken, borrow mine so yours can open too. Cause I'm gonna stand by you, even if we break it down. We can find a way to break through, even if we can't find heaven. I'll walk through hell with you. Love, you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna stand.
All right, guys, grab your seats. Grab your seats. Grab your seats. Before we send you off to a break, first question, you guys already feel like you know each other way more? Yes. Can we give a round of applause for Charity? Now, before she walks off the stage, I always like to do rapid fire takeaways. What that means is you're just going to shout out one takeaway or one great thing from this experience. Who's got one? Hand up. Bryce.
Charity, great way to frame culture. I've always talked about organization and creates growth, but you use the analogy and metaphor of Petri dish. I'm taking that and I'm basically shouting that to the world. So thank you.
Love it. He's stealing your IP. That's great. Sam. You have your story, it doesn't have you. I love that. Let's get a couple more.
Teach what you know, impart what you experience.
Love that. In the back.
I was always told don't jump in the deep end with people that you're just meeting, and so the rocks for me was huge to say, yes, you can jump into the deep end right away, because that's where I want to play.
That's awesome. And one last takeaway. Who's got one? Ask better questions. Love it. Give her a round of applause.